So a lot of people are here in the US and they have other visa types like the H-1B. Sometimes they have the student visa. Sometimes they have other visas like TNs or L1s. But they want a little bit more control over their immigration future. And this is totally understandable because when you are stuck with an employer-sponsored non-immigrant visa, you're really stuck just working for that employer. And in the age of the internet where everyone has their side gigs and they want to be really involved and invest in themselves, it can be really difficult for immigrants to actually make that happen, just like their US citizen counterparts can do. The O-1 visa offers a little bit more flexibility, or at least an angle, where you can claim a little bit more control, but it is tricky because the O-1 is also an employer-sponsored visa. The trick to getting the O-1 is that a lot of people will set up their own companies and then sponsor themselves through O-1 through those companies. This can work in a few different contexts. So let me talk about scenario A, where someone is still working a full-time job. Then I'll talk about scenario B, where someone like fully invests in the entrepreneurship route. I think that a lot of people right now are interested in pathway A, where they are keeping a full-time job, or at least have flexibility to work a full-time job and pursue their own side projects through the O-1 visa. This actually requires dual work authorization. So normally the person will apply for the O-1 first through their existing employer. So if you are a product manager at Microsoft and you want to apply for an O-1 through Microsoft, I mean, you do have to talk to their internal immigration team about getting that approved. But as long as you have a good case and can convince their legal team, you should be able to move to the O-1 visa. Once you move to the O-1 visa with that company, you know that the category has already been approved for you personally. So a lot of people can take that petition and file a very similar petition through a company that they've incorporated themselves that will do consultancy work in that same area. In the petition, you would have to describe that it's concurrent employment. So it's employment alongside the normal full-time job. And then as long as that's approved, you would have 2 full-time approved O-1s, one to work for Microsoft and one to work for your own part-time consultancy company. The bad part about that is that it doesn't necessarily give you flexibility to get another full-time job or even part-time formal employment with another company unless you file a third O-1. A lot of people will set up consultancy companies specifically so that they can work with multiple other companies at the same time and just frame it as a consulting or contracting arrangement rather than employment. And I think that arrangement works really well. It's a lot of work and a lot of expense to do it this way, but it can work out really well and provide for some additional flexibility there. The other route, so pathway B, is full entrepreneurship. And a lot of people are really successful at this, especially people who have gone through some kind of accelerator program and have received some funding, either angel investment or Series A or something like that. And they have the funding to scale the business, hire employees, and do something that's really important within the US economy. Usually for these kinds of arrangements, the person can actually leverage the fact that they got funding to get the O-1 itself approved. So they don't necessarily need to show that they've risen in the ranks and succeeded at some other third company. It's the startup that matters, and kind of everything is framed around the startup. I really like working on these cases, but I have found that it's a very specific kind of person and kind of client that goes for pathway B, where most people are actually more interested in pathway A. And pathway A is not something that a lot of attorneys really think about. But it is possible and something that I think a lot more people should explore in the future.